Genesis chapter 38. And it came to pass at that time that Judah went down from his brethren, and turned in a certain Adullamite, whose name was Hira. And Judah saw there was a daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shaul. And he took her, and went in to her. And she conceived, and bare a son, and he called his name And she conceived again, and bare a son, and she called his name Onan. And she yet conceived again, and bare a son, and called his name Shelah. And he was a Shezib when she bare him. And Judah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him. And Judah said to Onan, Go in to your brother's wife, and marry her, and raise up a seed to your brother. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his. And it came to pass, when he went in to his brother's wife, that he spilled it on the ground, lest he should give seed to his brother. And the thing which he did displeased the Lord. Therefore he slew him also. Then said Judah to Tamar his daughter-in-law, Remain a widow in your father's house, till Shelah my son be grown. For he said, Lest peradventure he die also, and his brethren did. And Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house. And in the process of time the daughter of Shua, Judah's wife, died. And Judah was comforted, and then went up to his sheep shearers to Timnath, he and his friend Hira the Adullamite. And it was told Tamar, saying, Behold, your father-in-law goes up to Timnath to shear his sheep. And she put her widow's garments off her, and covered her with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in an open place, which is by the way of Timnath. For she saw that Shelah was grown, and she was not given to him to wife. And Judah saw her, and he thought her to be an harlot, because she covered her face. He turned to her by the way, and said, Go, I pray you, let me come in to you. For he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, What will you give me, that you may come in to me? And he said, I will send you a kid from the flock. And she said, Will you give me a pledge till you send it? And he said, What pledge shall I give you? And she said, Your signet, and your bracelets, and your staff that is in your hand. And he gave it her, and came in to her, and she conceived by him. And she arose and went away, and laid by her veil from her, and put on the garments of her widowhood. And Judah set the kid by the hand of his friend Adullamite, to receive his pledge from the woman's hand, but he found her not. Then he asked the men of the place, Where is the harlot that was openly by the wayside? And they said, There was no harlot in this place. And he returned to Judah and said, I cannot find her. And also the men of the place said, that there was no harlot in this place. And Judah said, Let her take it to her, lest we be shamed. Behold, I set this kid, and you have not found her. And it came to pass about 3 months later that it was told Judah, saying, Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has played the harlot, and behold, she is with child by whoredom. And Judah said, Bring her forth, and let her be burnt. And when she was brought forth, she said to her father-in-law, by the man whose these are, Am I with child? And she said, Discern, I pray you, whose are these, this signet, these bracelets, and staff? And Judah acknowledged them, and said, She has been more righteous than I, because I gave her not to Shelah my son. And he knew her again no more. And it came to pass in the time of her travail, that behold, twins were in her womb. And it came to pass that she travailed, and that one put out his hand, and the midwife took and bound upon his hand a scarlet thread, saying, This came out first. And it came to pass, as he drew back his hand, that behold, his brother came out. And she said, How have you broken forth? This breach be upon you. Therefore his name was Pharez. And afterward came out his brother that had the scarlet thread upon his hand, and his name was Zara.